Hi UMass fans, this is Jacob Munch, radio broadcaster for the UMass women's basketball team. This week I had the privilege to sit down with Sam Breen to discuss her excellent UMass career prior to her final 2 regular season games. Sam, first things first, the season for UMass has gone very successfully, 23-4, heading into the St. Louis game. What are your thoughts on how this year's been going?
Obviously, I'm super happy with how this year's gone. Our 4 losses obviously were a little rough. We feel like we could have, won all 4 of those. But I think we've been doing really well since our early loss in conference. I think we've really picked it up, found ways to win. We've been down late in games and, come together and really, built each other up, and we're able to pull those games off. So kind of hoping to finish the season off that way and the A-10 tournament that way and just keep it rolling.
And last year, you guys won the A-10 tournament, came in as the 3 seed. What does this year feel like in comparison to last year? Does it feel the same? Are there a lot of differences? What's that like?
I think similarity-wise, we do have most of the same people on our team playing a lot of minutes, so I think there it feels pretty similar. I think we've all developed our game, so it is a lot more fun, I guess, even though that was kind of hard to top. But I think the only difference is obviously we were preseason picked first, and last year I think we were preseason picked 6th, so the pressure is on there, even though we don't necessarily, feel that pressure. But we haven't really had drop-offs like we did last year. I think we lost 4 conference games. Obviously, we've only lost the 1 thus far this year. So I think that's been the difference. We really haven't had, a slump where we've had to, come fight back from, and we don't really plan on having that. But, last year we dropped 1 late conference game to Davidson, which, I think we needed to, end up winning the A-10 championship. If we didn't lose that game, I don't know if we would have, gone on win the tournament. But I think this year it's different. I don't think we need a humbling loss like that necessarily to keep ourselves grounded.
And for you were A-10 player of the year last year, preseason all-conference first team this season. It's your final season playing college basketball. Does it feel any different because there are some expectations for you individually?
Not necessarily. If I didn't get any individual recognition, I think my mindset would kind of be the same. Obviously, those are all appreciated. They're all super fun when I get them, but I don't think I necessarily need those to, focus on consistency, focus on what I do, bring the energy and all that. I'm going to do that regardless of, what awards I get.
And when people look at your career, collegiate basketball-wise, you started by going to Penn State, were there for a little over a year, and then you decided to enter the transfer portal. After the struggles at Penn State, was there any consideration or doubt in your mind as to whether you wanted to keep playing basketball?
Oh, 100%. 110%. Yeah, it was a big decision for me to transfer because I was kind of fully focused on being a normal student at Penn State. I loved the school, loved it there, was just falling out of love with basketball. And then when I really sat back and reflected, I knew the love I had for the game in the past. I knew I could get that back. And I also realized that I am fortunate enough to be on full scholarship, which is not something that a lot of people, get to say. And with student debt and price of college and everything, I was finding the love for the game and being able to do that on full scholarship is just a win-win. And I still, at that point, planned on being done after my 4 years, didn't want to play after. I was I'll like it for the time I have left. And then, I come here, end up getting 2 extra years of eligibility. Never imagined, taking those before I transferred. And then, I find a school like UMass where I'm there was no doubt in my mind I was going to take both.
What changed when you got to UMass?
Honestly, my confidence was the biggest thing probably, and Coach Verdi kind of focused on that heavily when I was transferring. He definitely let me know that's what he wanted to work on most. And I did have a year, 2 semesters. I had spring semester and then fall semester, which is kind of weird just because I transferred mid-season. But that spring and then the fall to be on scout team, I wasn't able to play games. So I think the lack of pressure of all of that helped me find the love again because it, I didn't have the pressure of having to play in a game, and I could just focus on practice and enjoying the sport again. And that year definitely built my confidence, developed my game a little bit more without all the pressure. So I think that in itself helped. And then, my individual work with Coach Leffler really helped get my confidence up because he had me, working on things I never thought I was going to develop in my game.
Yeah, it's interesting to hear you talk about being able to take advantage of the 1 year of not being allowed to play because so many people now, you can just transfer and immediately play and you're fine, but you were able to take a lot of value out of that, which I imagine you'd agree, but it seems like it has paid dividends in the long run.
Yeah, no, definitely. I would not trade those 2 semesters back for anything. Obviously, it is a little awkward coming in, jumping in mid-season, but I would definitely not give those 2 semesters up for anything. That definitely, helped me out where I am, both in terms of enjoying the game and, the physical aspects of my game. I wouldn't trade it for the world.
You mentioned Coach Leffler, but I'm going to focus a little bit now on head coach Torrey Verdi. It seems that you and him have a rather close relationship. What has he meant to you throughout your time here at UMass?
Yeah, I mean, Coach Verdi and I definitely are super, super close. I think, since I came here 4 years ago now, our relationship has only developed. He's helped me in, more ways than I could probably name, but, he's been someone that I could talk to and trust both on the court and off the court. I know I can go into his office and talk to him about anything. If I'm struggling, school, personal life, basketball, he's always been there as an ear to listen and help me out, point me where I need to go. And not only that, but individual workouts are typically with your position coach, but I've had some individual workouts with him that have helped me in my post game. So it's just been I don't think I can put into words how grateful I am for him, and being invested in relationships like I am. I know that's a relationship I'm gonna have for the rest of my life, and I am very, very, very appreciative of that. And I let him know that. Probably don't let him know enough, but he's the best. He really is the best.
When you look ahead to this Saturday with Senior Day and the festivities before the game, Coach Verdi will be there as part of the celebration, as will your family. We were talking about it before we started this, how your dad, both your parents, your siblings go to as many games as they can. I think this year it's been every game.
Just about.
Gibsonia, Pennsylvania is not close to Amherst.
No.
What does it mean for you to be able to look courtside and just see them there so often?
Yeah, no, it's definitely 100% appreciated. I joke with my dad a lot, save your time, save your energy, save the money you're spending on plane tickets. But he lets me know he's built up a lot of frequent flyer miles, and he's got a lot of Marriott points. But it really is appreciated, and him, not only making the effort but taking the time. He has 2 jobs that he does back home. My mom, she has a job, so she comes to as much as she can too. So them coming in, and my sister being a freshman here, typically looking over and seeing all 3 of them, at least my sister and dad, is absolutely crazy, just because we are 8.5, 9, sometimes 10 hours from home. And they'll be here at St. Louis tomorrow. Shocker.
Of course they will.
Definitely the furthest trip. Wasn't sure they were going to make that one, but let me know that they were. But yeah, it's definitely appreciated. And my brother, I know he's not at as many games as the rest of them, because he's a full-time student in Ohio, but he's been to the ones he could be at, and he tunes into every single game, whether he's at work. He's called off work a few times to make sure he watches them. So my family really doesn't miss a game. They haven't since I started high school, and that means a lot, because not everyone has that family support. So I'm super, super grateful to have it from not just 1 or 2 family members, but all 4 of them. Yeah,
I think that's something that sticks out about you, is just your interactions with them before and after games, and just being oh, the Breens are here again. And they'll be there, like we said, on Saturday. I assume they'll be there for Senior Day. What do you think your emotions might be like on Saturday? Have you thought that far ahead?
I have thought about it, because I'm not going to say I'm not a crier. I definitely do get emotional, but I feel I usually get emotional after the fact, once it actually hits me. So not sure. I wouldn't be surprised if tears come, during the whole celebration. Whether they do or not, I know there will be tears later that night once it all sets in and I have finished my final game in Mullins. But it's gonna be a lot of happy emotions. I know the ceremony after, when I'm speaking, that'll probably get me. I think pregame, since I'm not talking and it'll just be the video, not sure how many tears will come, but I know when I'm talking it'll probably be a little difficult to get some words out. But yeah, gonna be super emotional, but in a good way. Obviously, if it didn't strike that much emotion, then it probably wasn't as good of a time as it's been. So if there's a lack of tears before the game, don't think that is anything. Once it resonates with me, I'm gonna be a baby.
Are you excited for it? Nervous for it?
I'm excited. I remember everything for Destiny and Jess Nelson last year. and just seeing that, and I almost got emotional with both of their videos, so I am super excited to see what they do for Destiny and I this year. Super excited. It's gone super quick, which is one thing that's like not even upsetting because it's been like an awesome holiday, but it just went so fast. Like this year went so fast, like the fact that it's already like the end of February. But I am excited. Not nervous, just gonna treat it like any other game. And then the ceremony after will be, I feel like, you know, where I'm like a little bit nervous just because I don't like crying in front of people. But
Sure.
Other than that, game not nervous for, super excited, and just need to get the win for the last home game that I ever played there after 6 years in college.
And you mentioned her for a moment, but you and Destiny Philoxy have been teammates for a really long time. I believe you've had some ups, some downs as your relationship has grown. Can you talk about the relationship that you formed with Destiny during your time here?
Yeah, Destiny, so I got here officially a semester after she was here, so halfway through her freshman year. And I remember on my visit, talked to her a little bit. She clearly was still young, and I was a sophomore at that point, so I did have like a year on her in college, I guess, at that point. But she was definitely had a very young mindset, very freshman mindset. And being able to watch her grow from then to now is like a complete 180. Like, it's absolutely crazy. I'm so proud of her, and I think we've always been friends since I've been here, but as the years have gone on, we've gotten closer because, one, we've been captains together for the past 2.5 years now. But even before that, like, she's always been someone I looked up to just, like, for the vocal piece, because she's got that I don't necessarily have, and she's really worked with me to try to get me to have the confidence to be more vocal. So it's grown. It's still not where she is, but she's helped me a lot there. But even off the court, like, 4 years ago, I don't know if I'm necessarily like FaceTiming her and asking her to like go, you know, do something or ask her for advice, but like now she's like one of the people that I know I could call, like, regardless of the situation I'm in. If I need help, if I just need advice, like whatever, like I know I could call her, and she's one of those people who, like, I plan on keeping a relationship with her, obviously, but if you were to like not talk to her for like a year or two, you could call her up and it's still going to be the same as it was. So I literally love her. I'm very, very happy she took this, her 5th year.
Yep.
So very, very happy that she took this and we were able to like do this together, and basically, besides the one semester she had here before I got here, but kind of go through the whole ride together. And it's been super fun watching her grow both on the court and off the court, because she's matured in pretty much every aspect that you could think of.
I think when people look at UMass women's basketball for the past 3 or 4 years, you and Destiny have been the faces of the program. Does it feel extra special, the fact that you will be celebrating senior day and going out with her?
Yeah, 100%. I remember telling her that last year when she wasn't sure if she was going to take the 5th year here or not, and I was like, you're coming back, like, you're going to do this again, like, just hold off, do it with me. So I'm super, super excited to celebrate that with her. I know we have some other like seniors on the team. Obviously, me and Destiny are like past seniors at this point, but being able to celebrate with her is like, I feel like the perfect like encapsulation of like what we've gone through. So I'm very excited to like do that with her, because she's been that one person that I've had like since I got here. So very excited.
I think a lot of people are going to pay attention to that game, like last regular season game, chance to win the regular season championship, plus the senior day festivities, also the possibility of you breaking the program's all-time scoring record, which Sue Peters currently holds. Are you able to comprehend the magnitude of like being close to breaking a record that's held for 43 years?
Yeah, I think that's just like absolutely crazy to think about, and especially knowing Sue Peters and talking with her pretty frequently over the past 2, almost 3 years since the COVID season. Talking with her pretty regularly. I was able to meet her in person for the first time actually right before the season started. So just talking with her and knowing how awesome she is, and knowing that's not necessarily something that like we've never even talked about it. Like it's not something that's been brought up because it's not something that I need to achieve or that like whatever, but like just knowing her and being able to get to know her and knowing what she's done after basketball makes it super exciting that is a record that she's held. And I think if it happens, that would be super cool, just especially knowing that she's like an awesome person, obviously was an awesome player in 2 very different like generations of UMass basketball. So I think that's super cool. I haven't necessarily comprehended it yet. In my head I'm like, if it happens, it happens. So I think if it does happen, like, it'll be super exciting. And I know, talking with her the other day, after the alumni game, she was super, super excited, and I read an article about her saying, like, she wishes I got it while she was there. But regardless, I think that's super cool, and knowing it's a record held by her makes it even more special.
And how crazy is it for you to realize where you were 4 years ago in terms of basketball to now being on the verge? Is that, like, what does that feel like to you, just realizing how so low you were in terms of basketball morale?
I talk about this with my family all the time, and, like, when stuff pops up, I'm sure, people with Snapchat see the Snapchat memories. So when it's, like, 5 years ago today and I was not enjoying basketball, and, like, those memories that pop up, because I would definitely, talk to my family, talk to my siblings, and, complain about my time there. So looking at that and, like, looking at where I am now, like, it's kind of, like, blocked out in my head. Like, that doesn't even seem like it was something that happened, because one, it was so long ago, and two, I'm just, like, a completely different person, both on the court and off the court. But, like, practice is something, like, I look forward to every day. I've looked forward to every day since I got here, and I can't necessarily say that was the same in my previous experience. And like I said earlier, like, I plan on being 4 years and done with basketball. Like, I was gonna try to enjoy it while I was playing, but I was done. I didn't want to play overseas or anything like that, just because I didn't think I would enjoy it enough. But, now that's definitely what I want to do until, my body will let me, which hopefully is a long time, because, I think playing overseas and traveling the world and everything would be super, super fun. So going from not wanting to play after college to taking 2 extra years and wanting to play until my body breaks down is very different, but I'm very excited that, that's happening, and that's, like, a possibility for me.
When you look at your collegiate basketball journey, what are you most proud of, be it on the court or off the court or both?
I'll start with off the court, just because I have been in school for a while. Lots of classes later, I am, super proud of finishing my undergrad and being able to finish that early. So I was able to spread my master's out a little bit, but getting both an undergrad and a master's degree at a university like Massachusetts is super awesome. Again, not something that was really on the top of my head when I transferred here. Wasn't expecting getting a master's degree out of it, let alone a year to get 2 certificates after that. So yeah, a lot of classes later, but I'm definitely proud of all that, and pushing myself in the classroom. And then on the court, I'm just extremely proud of, I guess, like, my development, because I owe it all really to Coach Loeffler and Coach Birdie, but Coach Loeffler especially, because individuals in the summer and preseason, postseason, all spent with him, and just developing my game. Like, if you asked me 3-4 years ago, I would have never thought I was going to be shooting pull-up jumpers. I never thought I would be shooting step backs, like, anything like that. So just developing that, as well as, like, the consistency and energy piece, because that's not necessarily something I had before I got here earlier, and really focusing on that in my 2 semesters where I wasn't playing games, because, as you might not believe, but I had no energy playing basketball before, like, at all, showed no emotion, and that's something I really pride myself on now, is, like, getting excited for me and my teammates when there's a big play.
And continuing to look at, I mean, I guess it's been 5 years you've been playing college basketball, maybe 6, depending how you do the math. What has been the best part of the journey? Is there a moment that sticks out to you where you're like, where you just think back very fondly on?
I mean, I think the obvious answer is the A-10 championship. Like, we knew we could make it. We knew we could win it. But I think going into that game and getting the lead early, I think for us, because that was a team that didn't necessarily have the hottest start. So starting off that game super, super hot, like, firing on all cylinders. And I think, like, going into halftime, like, knowing we had it if we continued just 20 more minutes of, like, our basketball. So as soon as that final buzzer went off, I think, like, I'll remember that feeling for, like, the rest of my life, and hopefully, get that same feeling again this year. But that's definitely going to be something I remember, just because it makes everything worth it. Like, obviously practices and, school and everything, like, life in general isn't always easy, but, like, that one moment in itself, like, makes it all worth it.
What do you think you're going to miss most about being a college basketball player?
Honestly, probably the relationships with my teammates and coaches, and, like, everyone else in UMass athletics in general, because I've made a lot of good relationships across the board, and not saying those relationships aren't going to be there anymore, but, like, not seeing everyone every day, just because I'm, get in the gym, like, say hi to everyone, like, always brightens my day to see people. So not necessarily having that, especially, you know, if I am in another country or something like that, time difference, not walking into a game and seeing my family, which, you know, who knows, wouldn't be surprised if my dad makes the trip. But just not seeing all the familiar faces every day is definitely going to be something I miss a lot, like a lot. So that's going to be definitely an adjustment, but that's what I'm definitely cherishing all the time I do have left, like the few months I have left here.
Have you spent a lot of this season in a different mindset, trying to enjoy it all, or has it been similar to past years with just focusing one game at a time?
I think it's been kind of both. Definitely focusing one game at a time, and this entire season I haven't like looked too far ahead. And I'm still like not looking ahead. I'm still like dealing with the future when it gets here, like not rushing it at all, because as exciting as it is, it's also scary. So I'll deal with it when it gets here. But definitely putting an emphasis on enjoying the little moments as much as the big moments this year, knowing that it is finally my final year. I knew last year I was coming back and taking this year, so that wasn't in the back of my head. It wasn't that it was almost over, because I knew I was taking my 6th year. So just like realizing that and embracing that, but also like not looking too far ahead and finishing it early.
You have been a big part of making this program grow, making women's basketball at UMass become more of a thing in the UMass community, in the New England community, and the national stage as a whole. Do you have any like final words, for lack of a better term, for like the UMass fans, the community, as you approach the end of your time here at UMass?
I mean, I think I've said this before, but I can't say it enough. Like, UMass fans are awesome, whether, you know, they're local or far, watching on TV or whatever. But I don't think it can be said enough, like, how appreciated they are. And even though I know there's a lot of things said about like fans not coming to games, but we feel you. We feel you at our games. We feel you, you know, on social media, all that. So just like a big thank you to everyone who's tuned in and supported us. And I think they're a big reason why like UMass women's basketball has like gotten more attention, because they're very active. I know personally, like on Twitter, so like I love it. Go on Twitter and see them advocating for us almost every single day, both the men's and women's basketball teams. And I think that's something that I definitely appreciate, because not all schools advocate for the men's and women's teams like our fans do, I feel like, and that's something that I don't think I can say that I appreciate enough. And then other than that, just like looking forward just to continue to support them. Obviously, Coach Verdi's built something super awesome, and it's going to continue to go up. So just continue to support them, continue to come to games, bring your friends, bring everyone you can, and keep tuning in, because this year and next year, UMass women's basketball is going to do really big things.
I think you're exactly right. And I want to thank you for, one, taking the time, but two, you've been very great to the UMass community on Twitter, in the arena, etc. I know the UMass Twitter world loves interacting with you. Not only, obviously, are you one of, if probably the best player UMass has ever had, but you're also a great person. And I personally want to thank you for letting me in, like on the road trips, all that sort of stuff, and welcoming me in, because you've been a part of making the year and a half for me and for WMUA really enjoyable. So thank you for that. Congratulations on a great career. You still got games to go. It'll be very exciting to see what happens. Good luck in the future endeavors as well.
Thank you.
And go try to win an A-10 championship.
Yes, of course, got you. And just to mention, when I mentioned earlier, you know, UMass Athletics familiar faces, you and Josh were definitely top of the list. So just wanted to throw that out there.
We'll take it. Perfect.
Thank you.
Thank you.